So where do you think spin-off investing is going? What do you think will happen in the future with it?
Yeah, so curious to get your thoughts too. But I mean, I think that, the market's getting more efficient. I mean, I think a lot of people, do read Greenblatt's book and start investing in spinoffs because they're like, oh, this is fun, this makes sense. And then you can get your face ripped off investing in spinoffs. So I think it keeps people, I think, I think even though it's an inefficient asset class and it's getting more efficient because it's well known, like people, Greenblatt wrote the book like over 20 years ago or so, but at the same time, I think it's not easy to do, and I think when you're investing in a spinoff, you really have to do the work to make sure you can't just buy it because spinoffs outperform. You have to really do the work to analyze why this specific company is gonna outperform based on your fundamental work. So I think there's always going to be the opportunities in spinoffs unless there's tax changes which make restrict spinoffs. So I think there are always going to be spinoffs. I think Wall Street appreciates simplicity. I don't think we're going to get back to a point where they appreciate the conglomerate model again. I mean, never say never, but it just seems like individual businesses are a lot easier to value than sprawling conglomerates. So I think there's always going to be spinoffs. In terms of the work that I've done, the majority of the value, so spinoffs do on average outperform, but on a median basis, they're kind of in line with the market. And so it's really the outliers that really drive the outperformance. So that's what gets me excited, like a small cap or a micro cap spinoff, like where there's a huge difference between the market cap of the spinoff and the parent, or they're in completely different businesses. And so it's just a completely unnatural shareholder base. That's where I think are the really interesting opportunities. I think it's going to continue to be interesting. You can go a while where there are not that many interesting spinoff opportunities, and then there's one that's like awesome. And if you weren't paying attention, then you just missed it. So I feel like the opportunity cost of not paying attention to spinoffs is really high. But it's definitely an interesting space that I think will continue to yield interesting opportunities because it's capacity constrained to some extent. Like a lot of the hedge funds that start out investing in these spinoffs in special situations start with 100 million or a couple $100 million, and they can invest in these really juicy spinoffs. But once they get bigger, they're forced to move on to the bigger cap names. So I think that inherently kind of is a structural factor why the spinoff opportunity should remain going forward. But there's definitely going to be ebbs and flows. I don't know. What do you think?
So I agree with you. I think what it is the spinoffs is kind of the entrance for a lot of people into doing like a personal type investing. And if they can go ahead and identify where things are, they can do great things and get great returns. And they have an experience like a Joel Greenblatt, where they get to a point where they have so much assets under management that they can't invest in some of the small ones anymore.
Right.
And to me, I think that they'll continue to be an opportunity. I just don't know, like you said, it might be more efficient in the future because of people like you and I that go out there and create opportunities for people to just piggyback off of our own trades,
Exactly.
But either way, for me, it's just interesting to see the world in a way that most people are unwilling or just don't have the time to look at, So